Hello everybody, welcome to another SevOne training video. Today's training video we're going to go over how to set up the WMI Poller. To access the WMI Poller information, we're going to go up into Administration, down to Cluster Manager, into Cluster Settings, and then down to WMI Proxies. First you're going to need to have WMI up and running on SevOne. You're going to need to download the WMI proxy by clicking this link here. What it's going to do is it's going to download this proxy file in which you're going to install on the specific machine you would like to monitor WMI on. Basically, it's a WMI service server installer. It's going to allow you to give SevOne access to set up the WMI proxy on a specific server that the server will then reach out and pull other WMI devices to get their data. So what I've done is I've already gone ahead and downloaded the WMI proxy on a specific server I'd like to use. So I'm going to switch over to an RDP session to continue from here. So once you've gone ahead and downloaded the WMI proxy, we're going to have to go ahead and turn on some WMI settings. So to do that, we're going to go into our Start menu here, into Administrative Tools. From Administrative Tools, we're going to go to our Component Services. And then Service Local. Now, from here we're going to be looking for two specific WMI services that we're going to need to make sure are enabled. The first one is WMI Server. So if we go down to the bottom here, you'll see that WMI Server needs to be running and automatic. To do this, you just right click and start. It's that simple. You're also going to have to do that for Windows Management Instrumentation. Just do the same thing, go ahead, right click and start. Make sure they're both running and automatic. That way SevOne is able to access the specific Windows information or Windows data that is available on this specific machine. Now once you've gone ahead and done that, we're going to go back to the SevOne system. And then we're going to go ahead and add a WMI proxy. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to these cluster settings that you should still be on the same page for, just in case you forgot. It's Administration, Cluster Manager, Cluster Settings, and then WMI Proxies. And you're going to go ahead and add a WMI proxy. So just go ahead and click Add WMI Proxy. Give it a name. In my case, I'm just going to call this WMI Test. Provide it with the IP address of the box that you are currently pulling WMI on. And then the specific port. By default, the port for WMI is 3000 or 3000. And then go ahead and click Save. Once you've gone through and added the WMI proxy, we're now going to go ahead and add the device to SevOne. So we're going to go up into our devices and then into Device Manager. And we're going to click this little checkbox on the upper left-hand corner and Add New Device. So go ahead and give your device a name. For the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and just add that specific WMI server that we had gone in and configured. As I mentioned before, if you go ahead and set up a WMI proxy on a machine, you can pull the WMI statistics off anything that's associated with that machine that's installed locally. But on this case, I'm just going to go ahead and run it specifically off the WMI server that we had set up on. So go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to give it WMI Test again. Provide it with the IP address. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to go down to the bottom here and change this to WMI. Click WMI Capable. So we're going to go ahead and select the proxy that we just set up, which is called WMI Test. And make sure you provide it with the username and password associated with your WMI server. Now make sure that the credentials that you add are administrative credentials. It doesn't really matter what they are, as long as the username and password provided do have administrative credentials on that WMI server. It's very important that you do have administrative rights to get this to work. Then for authentication, I always try packet and impersonate the first time around. That tends to be the most common and it tends to work the best. If that does not work, I recommend you try default. But for the most part, packet and impersonate tends to work the best. Use NTLM or New Technology Land Monitoring. If you currently utilize Kerberos or have any type of a newer WMI system, you're going to want to have that checked because that is for newer WMI technology. But if you don't use Kerberos or you know you have an older WMI model, you're going to want to go ahead and uncheck that. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this as well. And then once you're done, go ahead and click Save as New. And what's going to happen is that this device is going to go up and start being discovered and added into the SevOne system. So if I search for the specific device, WMI test, you will see that we are currently a high priority, waiting for it to be added to the system. And then once it is added, we can go ahead and see the WMI pollers that are available with that device. So you can see that the WMI test device has been added into the SevOne system. So what we're going to do to take a look at those WMI objects that have been added, we're going to go into our object manager here. And you'll notice that we do have about 15 WMI pollers that have been added here with the discovery of the device. Now, by default, you'll get somewhere between 10 and 15 WMI pollers during discovery based on the type of Windows server you have. There may be other WMI pollers that are available that weren't turned on automatically. If every WMI poller was turned on automatically when a Windows device was discovered, it could cause problems to the box, and most of the time you don't want to monitor all of those things. So what we do have is the ability for you to determine what WMI objects you want to monitor, and then you can turn those on at your own accord. So to see those other WMI pollers that are available, what we're going to do is we're going to go up into our administration tab, and then down to our monitoring configuration, and then into object types. First thing we want to do is change our filter from SNMP poller to WMI poller. And this shows all of the Windows pollers that are available to be monitored in the SevOne appliance. You'll notice that a lot of them are turned off. These are the ones that came in by default. If you want to see which indicators are associated with each one of these WMI pollers, you can just easily click it, and it will show you the names and the description and the type of source that is available. You'll notice that since SevOne is a nested structure, that all of the sub-object types here are maybe turned on, but since the master is turned off, none of those are currently being monitored. So if you wanted to monitor just some of these, or if you wanted to monitor all of those, all you really have to do is check this little guy here to on. Once you've gone ahead and enabled any of the WMI pollers that you'd like to monitor that currently aren't, what you're going to want to do is go up into our device manager, select the WMI device that you had added, and then rediscover the device. And then what it's going to do is, as the device is rediscovered, it'll go ahead and enable that specific WMI poller for that WMI device that you've added. I thank you for watching this SevOne training video, and I'd like to thank you for being a SevOne customer, and have a great day.